Hello Outriders! We're back, and this week I have a nice way to get out of an old habit for the new year, a deeper look into gaming. When you last sat down for a session with your gaming console, or when you were idly playing a round of a casual mobile distraction, how deeply did you think about your actions? I would guess not too much, as gaming is often a nice, light way for us to pass the time. However, if you're not into thinking hard about gaming, then rest assured that there's a group of people who are doing this for you, with some surprising and very interesting results. Oli Leno is an assistant professor at the University of Hong Kong School of Creative Media, and there he teaches game studies and new media theory. He explained the Game Philosophy Initiative.
The Game Philosophy Initiative is a network of scholars from the fields of philosophy and game studies who share an interest in the philosophical aspects pertaining to the phenomenon of computer games. It originates in a symposium jointly organized in 2005 by the Norwegian Philosophical Project Center and University of Oslo, Norway, and the IT University of Copenhagen, Denmark. So far, the Game Philosophy Initiative has put together 5 conferences.
Amazing. It sounds like every gamer's dream to be able to study these disciplines. But I guess with more general, casual gamers, they play maybe as a means of escape or to spend time relaxing rather than thinking too much about the philosophy of gaming. And so is it actually a common discipline to think deeply about gaming?
I dare to say that over the past decade or so, the sort of serious academic study has indeed become, well, I shouldn't say serious, but at least a reputable academic endeavor. And I think while it's an ongoing debate whether we should call it a discipline of game studies or a field of game studies, but certainly computer games are being studied from all possible perspectives of arts and humanities, sciences, and engineering. And I think the gravity for the Game Philosophy Initiative partly originates in considering philosophy, for example, the issues of ontology and epistemology, as something that has relevance potentially for all the various parties interested in the study of games.
But it might not occur to everybody who's in the middle of a first-person shooter.
You're right, probably not.
And so what sorts of theories then, for people who are completely unfamiliar with the field, what sort of theories would come from or are associated with gaming?
Well, when the established academic disciplines approach computer games, they understandably make use of the methodologies and theoretical frameworks they are familiar with already. But across the board, I think theory of play and the anthropological and psychological accounts of play are certainly widely cited within game studies.
When we're talking about gaming here, is it mostly digital gaming, or is it also traditional gaming or board games, or even game theory when we consider the motives of people in everyday life?
Well, computer games and the more traditional games, they certainly share a number of features, and we can find these similarities, for example, in the structure of the play process, or namely the reasons why the players engage in the activity. So basically, computers are good at simulating things, so they can, of course, simulate traditional games as well. But then there are also these games that are really hard to imagine existing in their current audiovisual forms without the interactive technological materiality of the computer. So, from my perspective, I might say that the concept of a game is a useful, established framework which helps us understand certain behaviors of humans and computers, but it doesn't necessarily describe exhaustively what's going on in these things we call computer games, which are at least overlaps of technology, human agency, non-human agency, and audiovisual semiotics.
And so there's an event coming up very soon. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, the 6th International Conference on Philosophy of Computer Games is going to take place in Madrid, Spain at the end of January, specifically from the 29th to the 31st. And the theme of this year's conference is the nature of players' experience. We have 19 double-blind peer-reviewed papers addressing philosophical issues related to computer games from the perspectives of aesthetics, phenomenology, and analytic philosophy, to name a few. And in addition to the peer-reviewed paper program, we have 4 keynote speakers: Dr. Gordon Kalea from IT University of Copenhagen, Dr. Graham Kirkpatrick from the University of Manchester, Professor Gregory Curry from University of Nottingham, and distinguished Professor Don Eide from the Stony Brook University.
Wonderful. It's certainly an international gathering. Is it cross-disciplinary, though? And if so, what sort of people would be in attendance, maybe, to see these people speak?
Well, the past conferences certainly have attracted people not only across borders of individual academic disciplines, but also from the industrial side of computer games.
Do you think then that the broader theories behind gaming are high in the mind of people who are selling these games?
Sure, there is a good dialogue, at least between those who study games and those who design them. I think it's kind of natural, as after all, both parties seem to benefit from the knowledge of what's going on when games are being played.
And just out of interest, do you play a lot of digital games?
I do. I like real-time strategy games the most, and all kinds of SimCity and stuff like that.
So you're creating worlds, basically?
Yeah, you could say so.
So if we're unable to attend the event, where can we find out more information about what's happening?
Well, of course, I wish you all could attend, but if you cannot, the Game Philosophy Initiative website at www.gamephilosophy.org has links to the upcoming conference and to all the previous conferences, 5 previous conferences in the series. And the websites of the previous conferences have most of the papers together with video recordings of the paper presentations and keynotes. So that's a good resource to get started with philosophy of computer games.
So hands up if you wish that the philosophy of gaming was available as a course when you were at university. I know I would have loved it, and I look forward to finding out what happens at the conference in Madrid. Well, that's all we have time for this week, but of course, on the various and assorted channels you can get in touch about pretty much anything electrical or web-related that you like. So what would you like to hear more about? Are you creating something we should know about, or would you like to comment on some of the subjects that we discuss? If so, then get in touch. You can email me at outriders@bbc.co.uk, tweet at me on Twitter where we are bbc_outriders, or search for Outriders on Facebook and add notes to your feed. You can even follow us while we explore Google Plus too, so there's no excuse for not saying hello.